Hey guys, what's going on? Jake here. Today I wanted to just take a couple minutes out of my weekend and really just encourage and empower you guys. Many of you have been here at the channel for a long time. You've been watching, you have been learning, you have been going through your own hair loss process or hair system process if you decided to start that. No wrong answer there. But many of you are new. Right. And this message really is great for all of us, whether you're just getting started or you have been using hair systems or dealing with your hair loss for years. Right. We all know this is something that can dramatically affect men and women. This channel, we talk a lot more about men. That's most of the audience, about like 95% of it. So I'm going to speak to that audience specifically. You know, hair loss, right? It's such an outwardly visible thing. It's something that you can't hide. It's something that is just... It's like, it doesn't feel fair, right? Because it's something that everybody can see. We can't really run away from it. You can shave your head, which we all know on this channel, I've talked about many times. It's an option, but for many of us, it doesn't match the internal identity that we have. And like it or not, hair is semiotically linked with sexual virility, attractiveness, a whole bunch of other stuff, right? We can make an argument for those that are billionaires or multi-millionaires that have a shaved head and it, you know, exudes power and all this kind of stuff. But here's the reality, right? If you don't have those other things, it actually doesn't. It detracts. And that's just the way it is, right? Like if you go on a dating app right now and you present, you know, as a mid-20s guy, completely shaved head versus one that has a full head of hair. And that being said, it's a good haircut, right? It looks good. The statistics will show that you get more results, right? You get more matches, things like that, just based off of having hair. It is linked to attractiveness. It's just the way it is, whether I like it or not. And that can create a interesting situation mentally, right? Where we don't feel like we have an option and we are forced into the corner of shaving our head. Now, it's right for some people. Some people look great with, you know, completely shaved head. Others don't. It's just the way it is. But what I do want to tell you here today is that, you know, this goes a little bit beyond hair loss, hair systems, and into the like building better men aspect of what I love on this channel, right? And that is that we have to take radical acceptance and accountability for what's in our life, right? And while genetically we may not have the option at this current moment to either have hair or not hair, what we can have is radical acceptance of it, right? Because from radical acceptance, we can just see the situation as it is and then make a choice as to truly what we're going to do about it. Living in denial does absolutely nothing. Denial is not just a river in Egypt, boys and girls. I'm sorry, this is such a bad joke, but it's true. You know, when it comes to hair loss, if we're living in denial, that's just going to create more issues. We're pushing down a problem. But here's the truth. We need to face our hair loss. We need to face the radical truth of the situation. So that way we can actually make a decision, right? Not one based out of fear, but one based out of what it is that we're truly trying to achieve and what feels best to us. You know, one of the things that I've learned over the past couple of years is there are universal truths out there in the world. There's also subjective truths, meaning that we can look at a situation or an event, right? That is an objective truth, right? It just exists, like a chair exists. But how it looks is the subjective truth, depending on which angle you view the chair from. Now, the reason I'm saying this, and it sounds very like metaphorical or perhaps, you know, like I'm extrapolating here, but hair loss is a fact, right? What we feel, what we believe, what we choose to do with that is the subjective truth, right? So we could say, oh man, you know, I've lost my hair and I feel really shameful about it, guilty. That truth is subjective. We're choosing into that. You could say, oh man, I'm losing my hair. I don't have any options. That's the subjective truth. What we could change that belief, right? Because a belief is a if this, then that type statement to ourselves. If I have less hair, then I have no options. If I have hair loss, then I need to shave my head. If I have hair loss or I'm balding, then, you know, women will never look at me. right? Beliefs could be a million, and we all have our own belief systems about everything in the world. It's how we operate. It's how we choose to make decisions. So what we can do, we can't change the objective truth. We can change our belief about it. And then when we change our belief about it, we can actually change the outcome because we get to make a new decision, right? So that's why this channel was so important for me. Why I think it's important for you is because number one, we're normalizing things. We're destigmatizing things. We're empowering men to make a decision. I've said it a billion times. I don't care whether you shave your head, whether you keep, your thin hair, whether you get a hair system, hair fibers, hair transplant, anything. I really don't. I'm agnostic to what it is that you do. I'll tell you what I did to help myself, what I believe is the best option for me and for some of you. But ultimately, I want you to make the decision that most empowers you. That for me is what all of this stuff is about, and the way I want you to think about how you live your life, whether it's about hair loss or relationships or your profession or what you believe you have to do in this world, right? There is, like in America, right, in the US, the hegemonic pattern, like the dominant narrative is that you have to go work a 9-to-5 at a corporate job, and there, you make enough money to basically go out and eat and get a family and then raise them with a white picket, right? There's a way that you live, and that's a belief, right? And I see so many people that are unhappy with the way that they live, right? They settle for just good enough, or like a job, right? Just over broke. And that could be broke metaphorically, spiritually, relationally, passion, right? We should never just settle, because if we're just settling, I believe settling means that we don't believe that we can get something that we want or that's better. So what we need to do first is change the belief, change that we do believe that things can be better, that we can achieve what it is that we want for an outcome. And then from there, make a new decision. It's vital, guys, vital. And I know this is maybe pontificating, or it's maybe just a bit philosophical, but I think this stuff really matters for us to consider. I can talk about hair systems, but this is the deep stuff, guys. This is the stuff that changes our life. It's these types of conversations. I'd love to know what you think down in the comments. Leave me a little note with how this affects you, if you've been thinking about this, if you see it in aspects of your life. Once again, we're getting back on making content. Things are going really awesome. I've actually got some really cool surprises when it comes to the hair system stuff in the world for you. Oh God, it's gonna be really cool. But anyways, I'm really inspired by this thought this weekend. Wanted to share a little bit of motivation for you. I hope you're all doing well.